Yo, what's going on, everybody? Servo here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at a topic that's been discussed quite a bit over the past week or so, but it's probably the most trending topic that I still see today on, Facebook or over on Reddit, like other platforms. And I gotta say, it's an interesting topic. It really is. So let's dive right into it today. If you guys do enjoy my content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I would certainly appreciate it. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I saw this post over here, and it is a vent post though, so just throwing that out there. So this user said, "I'm sorry, but the star path has been awful. I just need to rant. Firstly, if you like the items in the star path, then that's great. I'm glad you do. However, from my perspective, this has been one of the worst. So much so, I can barely be bothered completing the challenges because the rewards just aren't worth it. I never would have thought that in the month of October, we'd have a star path so bland that it barely ignites a desire to want any of it. Granted, some bits are nice, the stage is a nice idea, and the concept is there. In previous years, right about now, I'd be rushing around trying to get everything before October was done so I could have everything out in time for Halloween. It was such a fun experience to decorate the valley up as you progressed with unlocking the Halloween themed items. This one is just boring. It doesn't even feel a Disney to me. At least past paths have felt Disney coded. I honestly don't know what they were thinking." So this post actually had 392 upvotes. So certainly a good majority of the community agrees with this. Now, I'm making this video because I'm not saying this user's wrong at all. I believe everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and you can either like the star path or you don't. That's just completely okay. I am just going to say my views on the star path, and I have discussed it a little bit in the past. So the star path was definitely different, right? Like, it was something we weren't expecting. A lot of us were wanting Halloween, and it kind of seemed like Gameloft canceled Halloween on us. So there's a few things to note. One, Halloween is not celebrated by everyone or everywhere. So I can kind of see why maybe sometimes they go all in, sometimes they don't. But at the same time, it's nice. Like a lot of other games, pretty much every game celebrates it, right? Now, this one, Gameloft did kind of seem like they're putting most of the Halloween type of stuff in the premium shop and not really in this. So I think the main thing that this comes down to for many players is it's not necessarily that they didn't like the star path. It was that the star path came at the wrong time, right? So everybody was, or a lot of people were wanting Halloween, and this one was just random. So I think we have to remember that I think Gameloft is actually running a little bit behind on content. So I think this update was just kind of a mixture of things they've already had, and they kind of just had to pull it together to still give us some content. They put out a roadmap, and they actually succeeded for the most part on like not having any delays. And I think that by itself is impressive. Think of a game company out here that has not delayed a game or an update. It's really rare these days. So Gameloft was able to put out all this content, without any delays, which is actually insane. And then when they do have to delay something, it seems like they always kind of pull something together to make it where it might be just a little bit less content, but they still have something for us to have. Now, another thing that is the topic I see a lot of people talk about is this one doesn't really feel Disney to me. At least the paths of the previous ones have felt like Disney coded. I have seen that talked about a lot. So a lot of players were like, this one doesn't even seem like it's Disney. And while, yes, I can see that, this is a Disney game and that's the main focus, at the same time, it's still a Gameloft game and it's still a simulation game. So I don't think everything has to always be true Disney all the time, even though this is set in like a Disney universe, Disney world. I still feel like they kind of did their own spin for a game, and then they also kept some like Disney elements. So like this jacket right here, the Punk Princess jacket, has little tidbits of villainy. The boots and everything. We did get the Loungefly bags, which are definitely Disney. Now, some of these items like this, I definitely see, like the stage balloon or the rock show synths. They just don't scream Disney, of course. And then we ended up having Where is it? So like even this, they kind of included something from the game. They gave us they said the Forgotten on the drum set. So they kind of did like what they wanted to do, but they also made some adjustments to make it seem kind of Disney. Like this one is kind of like inspired by Ursula and Scar for the guitar rack. So I get it. I really do get it. And I understand, myself personally, I'm not big into the whole Rockstar theme, but I actually enjoyed this mainly because I feel like a lot of these items are going to be very useful for Dream Snaps going forward. So even if you don't really like the theming around it, like the pyrotechnic box is going to be able to, you can use it for so many creative uses. So like even my submission that we're voting on right now, so my Critter's Lair, this was my submission, and I used the pyrotechnic box behind the cauldron to make it look like Jafar and Fairy Godmother kind of messed up. I mean, Fairy Godmother's puzzled over here. Make it seem like she kind of messed up her spell, and this is like a class where we're just trying to work together, almost like a potions class, So that's the vibe I was going for. And I think, no matter like however creative you are, you can make any of these items work. So it's one of those things, if we didn't get the star path, we may not have had something that literally gives us a bunch of fire, which is something I've been wanting for the longest time. We have these lights that are actually really cool. The stage is cool, but I don't know how useful it is. The luminous fence, this is actually going to be great for like Christmas Dream Snaps going forward. I think it's going to be great having all those lights. We got some more fireworks, so we can use those. The luminous dance floor, I think is going to be really awesome. You can also use this in tons of different Dream Snaps. And then, of course, I've seen the Spirit Water Curtain used in so many Dream Snaps already. It definitely adds a bit of flair. So the star path overall was shorter. They didn't give us like any motifs or anything like that. And it is like cheaper up front, but overall it's not cheaper compared to like previous star paths overall once you like finish it and get all your moonstones and stuff. But I will say the star path is always worth it, right? So you only have to spend a couple hundred by the end of this, a couple hundred moonstones to get all of these items. But I don't think that's what that post is really talking about. They're not really saying like it's not, the best star path or it's not worth the moonstones. It's more of it just doesn't seem like Disney, and it's also arrived at the wrong time. But I think this was from Gameloft just pulling a bunch of stuff together, and they're saving for the update, the expansion in December. And I also have to say, if we take a look at the roadmap, these are all of the updates that the game has already given us. So we had, the release date, and then we got the one with Scar, and then we ended up getting the winter one of 2022. We ended up getting Mirabelle, then more Lion King. We had Fairy Godmother, we had Dream Snaps and Vanellope arrive, then we had Beauty and the Beast, then we had another autumn one, then we had A Rift in Time, Monsters Inc., Daisy, Mulan, we have Tiana, we have Timon and Pumbaa. So the great thing about this game, even if something isn't the best, like say the theme of the Star Path is not the greatest, right? We always have an update like a month and a half to 2 months later. I mean, it's almost always like content. And that's one thing that I really like about this game. And it's also great for being a content creator. It's also great for being able to be in a community for a game like this. There's always something new to talk about. So I can't say that out of all of these, every single update has always been my favorite, or I didn't think one was, not the best, but I wish it would have been something else. But every time, I feel like that, like, oh, let's just say, for example, I don't like Mike and Sully coming to the game, which I do. I love this update. That was such a good update. But just for an example, it's like, oh, this one's not the greatest. It doesn't look the best. The Star Path's not the great. But I know literally a couple more months, like 2 months later, we're going to have new content, new Star Path, a completely new vibe. And that's something that definitely makes me feel better no matter what, is because 95% of games, they do not get updates very regularly. Most of them, unless you're like Fortnite or some massive game, you don't get regular updates like at all. You have to wait probably 4 or 5 months, sometimes almost a year for a single update. So I definitely am always happy no matter what we get, even if the theme isn't something I'm exactly excited for. So in all, I can definitely see why a lot of players would be disappointed in this one, thinking we were going to get Halloween. But at the end of the day, It's one of those like, okay, it might not have been the best, but you know what? We're about to have a massive expansion. We're about to get Sally in probably December is what we're thinking. Maybe that could have some really more seasonal things. Maybe they're going to go all out for Christmas or some sort of winter holiday. And I'm excited for it. So let's take a look at what the community thought about this. So I made a post over on YouTube. And I had asked, what are your thoughts on the night show Star Path? Personally, I love it. And so 23% said they love it out of 2.7 thousand votes. So almost 3,000 votes. 32% said it's nice. So if we add that together, we got like 55%. So half of the community said it was pretty good. It was okay. You know, they enjoyed it. Might not have been their favorite, but it was pretty good. And pretty much the other half said it was just meh or I don't like it. So it definitely seems to be split. Some really like it, some don't. And like I said, I'm sorry if you didn't really enjoy it, but luckily it's just going to be another month and maybe a week, and then we should have new content, a new theme, and hopefully it'll be better the next time. And we also have, you know, we got some little surprises. They did give us like the little backpack here. We do have the Halloween event that should be starting here in just a few days, really. And maybe that'll make it feel better. Plus, you can still use the items that are like you already have in the game to decorate and make it feel more Halloween. But yeah, they definitely did skip a lot of the autumn vibes this year. I'm not sure what the decision was around that, but it is what it is to me. But that's it for this video. Let me know any of you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to read them. Again, no one's wrong. If you don't like the Star Path, that is completely okay. If you do enjoy the Star Path, that's great. You know, everyone's opinion is their own, and we should always just accept that. All that really matters is if you enjoyed it, and if you don't, we'll just have to make the best of it. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.